Hey, hey, welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Conversations with A'Driana LaFaye. I am A'Driana LaFaye. We are continuing with our entrepreneur series, and today I have the impeccable saxophonist, Mike Jones from Groove
Hey,
Centric. How you
hey,
doing, Mike?
good. How you guys doing? Thank you for having me, cuz.
Of course, of course. I've seen everything that Groove Centric is doing. I was like, oh, we gotta talk.
You got
We got to.
you got
Um, okay, so if for anyone who does not know, Mike is my cousin, but he is a part of a group called Groove Centric. So how long have you been with the group, Mike? And like, what made you decide to start? When did you start with saxophone? Let's start with there.
Sure. So I was always into music. My mom was always the praise and worship leader at church, and so we were very, very heavily involved in church up there about 3 or 4 times a week, every single week. And so music was always in my DNA. My dad played bass at the church, so I got it honestly, where I really wanted to play drums. So I started playing drums at first in the church and started really loving it. But all the while, at home, my mom used to sing and practice for the church service the next week, and she'll be sounding so good walking around the house, just all that stuff. And it started to interest me, and so I started trying to see if I could be a singer, right? And so I started trying to emulate little nuances that she was doing around the house.
How'd that work out?
It just wasn't coming out like her. So at first I just thought it was because she's, older and needed to mature in my own. So I remember one day she was singing, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna get serious about singing. So I went in the bathroom and I closed the door. I said, this is gonna make or break me, right? And so I was in the mirror. I said, I'm about to sing the song. And if I jam it like Luther, then I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be the next Michael Jackson, right? And so I stood there with I had a brush in my hand. And I stood there with my brush, that's the microphone, right? And I said, 1, 2, 3, go. And so I said, 1, 2, 3. I said, ah! And it sounded like that. And I ran out the room crying because I said, Mom, I'm not gonna be a singer. And I was like so discouraged and so dejected. And she looked at me and she said, baby, maybe you need to find an instrument. So I said, okay, but Mom, what instrument? I already played drums. And I guess I was about 12 or 13. And she was like, well, you just got to find one. And it just so happened, like a few days later, I turned on the radio and I heard Kenny G playing on the radio. And I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like singing. I was like, man, if I can do that, then I can sing. So I ran in the room all excited, Mom, give me a saxophone. And she was like, cool. So the next week, she bought me a saxophone. And that's all she wrote. At first, I was too young to even be in band at that point. So she bought me the saxophone, and at that time they had little books that you could learn the fingerings and stuff. But what I wanted to do was just follow, and I was so annoying. I used to follow her around the house, and I was just playing everything she sang around the house. She'll go ooh, and I go dee, and she'll go dee, and I go dee, and so for like 6 months to a year. That's how I learned how to play, just emulating her voice. And I didn't know that I was teaching myself to play by ear. I just knew that I was trying to sound like a singer.
Right.
So the more I did it, and the more they gave me albums and CDs and stuff to do, like, the legendary saxophonists like Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and all those guys that came up, I did the same thing with them, and I was just learning the stuff that they was playing, and their birth a saxophone playing, and I didn't know that was the correct method to learn how to play saxophone. I just knew that I wanted to do what they were doing.
Right.
But as I've grown up in the industry, that is the only way to do it. It's to kind of study the people that did it before you and learn what they do. It's like walking. You know how you're a baby and you watch your parents walk, and then you learn how to put one foot in front of the other, and you learn how to walk like them. But then after a while, you put your own thing to it, like your own, little glide to it, and it becomes your own walk.
Right.
Well, music is the same thing, where you study those guys and emulate precisely what they did in order to learn music. And then as time goes and the more people you study, you form your own type of style. And so that's how I started. And so when I graduated college, I was a double major in college. I taught music first, and then when I moved back to Atlanta, I was kind of new to the scene because we moved to Albany, Georgia first, and then I moved back to Atlanta, and I was new, so it's kind of was cliquish. All the top musicians had their crew. You know what I'm saying? And so since I was new, they didn't know me, so I had to do some brown nosing, or you got to get them, pay your dues. Right. And I ain't feel like doing it. I don't feel like kissing up to nobody. So instead of doing that, I kind of created my own lane, where I started putting out business cards. I partnered with a few other guys, and we just started gigging, and we started just being called and got in demand without having to team up with the clique, the end crew. And because of that, I put together Groove Centric. Groove Centric is just a lot of guys that were playing gigs for everybody else. They got tired of just gigging, right? Just playing for everybody else, playing performances, but didn't have anything for ourselves.
Okay.
No recordings, no CDs, no songs, nothing. We were doing shows for everybody else but ourselves.
Okay.
So these guys were just successful. They played from the who's who. You're talking about from R. Kelly to Jay-Z to Music Soul Child. These guys have played for the who's who in the industry, but it's always been for somebody else. Like, you the slave and you playing for master.
Or almost like the background singers, how they always get a background for the main, but they don't normally have their own.
Exactly. So you just the saxophonist. You don't have an identity as yourself. So I got tired of that. So I put these guys together, and the mission was to get together and have a unit that could be cohesive, that could create a rapport, that we could do shows together, and also record music and have, we was getting older and we was having kids, and I didn't want my legacy to be, Mike was a good saxophonist and he played for whoever, right? I wanted my legacy to be I imparted music and left behind a lot of music for people to enjoy, even when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And that's what the legends do, like Charlie Parker, John Coltrane. They're still not here, but their music lives, right? And so they'll be here forever. Your name can die down if you don't have anything to attach with. You don't have music and stuff. So once we got together, man, and these guys are bad. Once we got together and started creating that music, girl, woo, that stuff came out, started pouring. So we got one album that's out there now called Crossing Bridges, and it's done real well.
Awesome. When was that released?
So that was released last year.
Okay.
Last January, Crossing Bridges, and that's our freshman album. And now we are almost finished with our sophomore album, which will be released in next February. So we're moving now. And we've been doing a lot of shows. I never thought it was going to take off like this. I just thought we'd just come together and maybe vibe and create. Mm-hmm. But since we've gotten together, man, we've played for at least 30 different jazz festivals. If it wasn't for the COVID-19 this year, we had 30 jazz festivals booked for this year.
What?
We had New Orleans, we had Jacksonville, we had Savannah, we had Memphis, we had Ohio, we had Seattle. We had all these days planned, and when COVID hit, it was like, no, took away everything. But we've still been busy. We've done virtual shows, we've done local shows that have been safe social distancing.
Okay.
Like we got a show next Sunday. That's at City Winery. That's going to be real good. Am I getting ahead of myself? Like I'm answering all these questions.
No, not at all. Not at all. You guys have performed at City Winery for a couple times though, right?
Yeah. So we did last month, and we did Groove Centric featuring Chase Stephen.
Okay.
And we did we did some of our jazz tunes, and we did a tribute to Curtis Mayfield.
Oh wow.
Glenn Gay and Al Green. And when I tell you we shut that thing down, girl, let me tell you something. Curtis Mayfield, people don't know about Curtis Mayfield. People they know about Al Green, they know about Marvin Gaye because they was just a little bit more successful. But Curtis Mayfield, that dude was funky. Woo, everything you played from him had you swing your seat like, ooh, that's nasty. And when you say that's nasty, that's when that music is hitting you right in your gut. Right? That music is, when you, ooh, that's my jam.
Right.
And Curtis was the man, dude. So we did a whole show full of, we had them dancing and all that. So it's great because, I mentioned COVID-19 canceled our shows. But I think one of the most important things, and I may be jumping ahead of some of your questions, I think you're going to ask me, like, what are some of the challenges of being an entrepreneur?
Right.
Okay. I'm glad you asked that.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
One of the challenges.
What kind of challenges did you have, Mike?
One of the challenges of being an entrepreneur is just dealing with the unknown, right? You have to advertise, you have to promote, you have to garner enough attention to get business.
Right.
And when you're working for someone, you're not responsible for that. They are. All you need to do is come and do your role, right? And
just
and
show
then
up.
Clock. You're responsible for all of it as an entrepreneur. That means you have to have 90 different hats. You're the promoter. You also have to deliver a quality product. You also have to promote it. You also have to build your brand so it's sustainable. And so all of that is I had to learn how to wear all those hats. And sometimes it's overwhelming because the administrative stuff takes me away from the real thing that I do, right? I really wanted to play music, right? I wanted to play my saxophone. If I could just play my saxophone is one thing, but that's only like 30% of it. Like if you don't have the other 70%, I don't care how good you play, you're just not going to be successful. So that's what I had to learn. Putting time and investment into those other things, especially now that we have a COVID-19 competing with that. And in this industry, it's dependent on people coming out and support. Now you got people not wanting to come out and support, so you have to reinvent yourself, right? And that's the good thing with being smart is that when you're doing something you're passionate about, you can be successful. I don't care what's happening. I had 1 month last year that was really, really slow, and that was when Corona first hit. Okay. Like the end of March and April. And then when the whole shutdown happened, the world shut down completely. But then in May, I was like, you know what? People still got to celebrate, right? Birthdays. People still got to celebrate anniversaries. So I teamed up with about 10 different event planners, and we just started coming up with creative ways that we could celebrate people's birthdays. And so I formed a second line band, New Orleans style band where we would go, and you know how they have the parades,
Yeah.
little birthday parades, and they'll have the cars come by and honk and say happy birthday and keep it moving. And so I created a second line band, and we would lead those parades. I played about 30 events since May, just parades. Yeah. People just call and say it's my grandma's birthday, and we'll coordinate how. I had a 7-member band that tuba, sax, trumpet, the marching band, bass, drum, snare, and we'll set up, we'll leave the cars in, we'll set up at the house, play music as all the cars were by. I played like 30 of those. Funerals, and this is bittersweet, kind of. It's good business, but then you realize then that it's a funeral and people are really being affected by this. But even that, having a second line band to boost people's spirits, even a funeral was great, because then it turned from a sorrow type of thing to a celebration of life type of thing. That really changed the mood. So just reinventing yourself is the key in being an entrepreneur, and always constantly thinking of creative ways to keep your business going. Is very, very key to it. So that's one of the things, man, just doing a lot of virtual shows. So my band has done 7 virtual shows. We were booked for the Atlanta Festival this year, but when they canceled it, we did a virtual Atlanta Festival, and that was really cool in May. So people were able to stay home, stay safe, but still get great music. So that was great. So yeah, man, that's my story. I want to get some more wine while we're talking.
Okay, you do. Okay, so you had some challenges. You've been doing this for a very long time.
Very long time.
What wisdom of nuggets can you provide to people who are in the music business, want to get started, maybe not sure what to, where to do or how to go about it?
One thing that I want to say, and that's with any type of skill that you have, is you want to always be a student of your skill, of your craft. You never want to get the attitude where you've arrived, like you have nothing else to learn, because especially with music, you got to find ways to make yourself interesting and keep reinventing ways, like I just talked about. Even when you just playing saxophone, like I can't come and play the same solo every single performance.
Right.
People won't come. They start coming because they'll say, well, we heard that last time we were there. One of the things I pride myself with is every time you hear me, you're going to hear something different. Okay. And the reason why you're going to have that is that I practice all the time. Even now, I've been playing for 30 years, and I still practice every single day because I'm still learning. So what you heard last week, you're not going to hear that again. You're going to hear something brand new this week. And I continue to grow and develop. That's one of the things. Stay a student of your craft. Continue to develop yourself. Continue to seek getting better and improving. The second thing is be versatile. Be very versatile, especially with music. A lot of times musicians study one genre of music and then they're limited to that genre.
Yeah.
That means that if you study straight ahead jazz, but you don't know how to play like top 40 music or covers, then they're not gonna call you for those events. They're just gonna call you for straight ahead. And so you're missing out on growing your audience and your fan base because you're so stuck into that one genre of music. And that's one of the things that my band, one of the greatest things of my band is that they're so versatile. And what I mean is that we can play any type of music.
I noticed you went from reggae to Christmas to...
We can play anything. We're one of the most versatile bands that you will find in Atlanta. And we can play every genre, and you won't think that it's fake, like we fake it, like it's not even authentic. You would think if we go to a Latin place and play all Latin music, you would think we were born in Mexico or something, or in Spain, because the guys are so talented. They're able to embody each genre of music and to portray it on the instruments. And that's just being a good student of each instrument. My bass player is phenomenal. He can play straight ahead on upright bass, but he can thump that electric bass like no other. And so even me, I played classical in high school, but then I got jazz, so I can go from gospel and my church roots, go from gospel to jazz and Latin, all that stuff, and make it believable. And so you have to be that as a musician. Right now, I play at a brunch every single Sunday, but I don't play jazz. I play cover music, Stevie Wonder, Rihanna, all those people, and I make it believable, like I'm that type of musician, even though that's not the music of my preference. I wouldn't like it. If I had to choose between a genre, it wouldn't be that. I wouldn't want to play Rihanna every day. But I can play it, and that's what makes me a working musician, is that they can call me for any event and know that it's going to sound awesome. I can be a bar mitzvah, it can be Latin, it can be African, whatever it is, I'm going to play it and it's going to sound great, So that's my thing with just a tip for a musician that's trying to get better and trying to infiltrate. And like I mentioned before, stay away from the cliques. Know that there's enough business for everybody. You don't have to form or join a clique in order to be successful. Create your own lane. Like, you get out there and meet event planners, meet promoters, meet owners of restaurants, of businesses, to get your name out there. Give cars out, to different, and you can even join, now they have booking agencies where you can just partner up with them and they give you all your gifts. So there's enough out there that you don't have to kiss anybody's rears in order to be successful in this thing. Because what happens is a lot of people move to Atlanta. But side note, please don't move to Atlanta. We full.
Right. Okay. Can you say that again for the people in the back?
Oh, we are full. Please don't come here. Please don't come here. We full. We got enough people. We want to come visit you in your own city. So stay there.
Right.
Okay? Stay. But anyway, people will move here and they'll struggle because they think that getting to know a certain person is going to get them more gigs. And to a certain extent, it is sometimes about who you know, but it's also about the effort that you put into and the drive that you put into it. If you want it, there's nobody there to tell you no. You just need to figure out a way to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. Just stay away from the cliques. Of course, some people have their preference of musicians that they call all the time, but there's so many opportunities out here in Atlanta, especially with all these businesses opening up and coming here, that there's enough opportunities for everybody to be able to eat.
Yep, most definitely. So, does it feel like it's been 30 years though?
Girl, because I'm still on 29. So I'm like, well, if I've been playing for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right math.
yeah, that's not it. So maybe I've only been playing for 10 years.
Yeah, that's about right.
And so a little bit more piece about me is I have two sides of me. And so this show is about entrepreneurship, but I also have the corporate side of me, where I've been a leader at Coca-Cola for the last 16 years. And so, that's a good segue too. So I've been at Coca-Cola for 16 years, and I'm an operations manager for them. And so I lead a team, a department called the Sales Support Department. And so as I think about my life, music is the one part. That's the part that I've cultivated and created an entrepreneur brand for. Right. And then I have the corporate business, so I can compare the two. The things I don't like about corporate is that you have no control over that business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're a soldier for their army, right?
Most
But I
definitely.
mean, right. And so it's just so much you can make, so far you can go up. And so having complete control and having it and say it is your own is a sense of accomplishment that you can't get with being with corporate America.
Yep.
But I can't just do music though. That's the other side of me, that if I just do music full time, I would be missing something, because I have a business side to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up a restaurant.
Okay.
And so I got all the plans all laid out. I have a business plan. I have the name. I have the food that I'm gonna serve. I've been in the food and beverage industry for the 15 years, so I kind of know the ins and outs of it. So I'm glad that I have that. But I want to merge my two passions together. Those two sides. I'm gonna merge them. That music side, because it's gonna be a jazz restaurant, right? I merge the music side with the business side, and then I will really be in my calling, because I really feel like that's what I should be doing. And so that's coming in a while. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
Awesome, yeah, man.
So let me
It's
ask you
gonna be
this.
great too.
I believe you. I know it will. You said that you have a business plan. How important do you feel like that is?
Oh, it's very important. It's very, very important, because if you don't have a plan, then you have no vision. You have to have a vision, you have to have a plan, you have to have a way to get to what you want to get to.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to be lost. I feel like when I did sit down and organize my thoughts and put it down actually on paper, it excited me more, but it also it excited me to be able to read through it, and it also allowed me to tweak it. Like when you put it down on paper, you be like, wait a minute, that don't sound right, and you're able to tweak it and really organize your thoughts and really be methodic. There it is. Be methodic about what you need to do, and making sure you're covering off on everything, every little topic that you can think of. Food distribution, where your beverage license is going to come from, what kind of building you need, the layout, what kind of employees, how many employees you need, what's your staff look like, all of those little subject areas you need to touch on, so that you can make sure you have a thriving business. So the business plan actually keeps you organized in all the different subjects for your business. Without it, you have a risk of failing. I'm sorry, you can't do it without it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone told me one time, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You got it.
You
got it.
I think it's just so simple.
That is what it is, and it's so true. And I know plenty of people that will attest to that, because they've tried it. They tried to go in without a clear path, a clear plan, and it's too many moving pieces to work like that.
Right.
You have to have a clear idea of how you're gonna make it work. And the only way to do that is put it down and reread it, and make sure you get a second eye to read it, because sometimes the second eye can tell you some things that you haven't even thought of. So don't always do it by yourself. A lot of people just want to go in there and die, oh, I got it. Yeah. So you need to have you need to have somebody else looking over you, somebody partnering.
Exactly. So you mentioned that you have City Winery coming up. When is that?
So City Winery is a concert venue.
Okay.
It's very nice, very upscale. They have the who's who comes through there. to do performances. They just had Denise Williams on there. They're having not Destiny Child, but the Who's Who. And so we're fortunate that they keep asking us to come, because we're like, well, we're not famous yet, but they love our shows. So they love the energy of our shows. So next Sunday, we're gonna do a jazzy Christmas show, and all the classic stuff, we're gonna do our versions of them. And then also we're having one of the amazing singers to join us, Tony Hightower. Tony has been featured in a lot of Tyler Perry's plays. Like if you see a Tyler Perry play, chances are you're gonna see Tony Hightower on.
Really?
He is amazing. His mom, Teresa Hightower, was a legendary jazz singer in Atlanta. She sang everywhere, so he got it honestly. But in his own right, he's made a name for himself. He's been featured in Atlanta Jazz Festival. He's been featured all over Atlanta, all over the South. So he's gonna bring some great energy. With us combined, like it's gonna be overload. You may explode if you come. So if you really want to explode with a lot of good music, you can come on next Sunday. And the second thing is, with the COVID, a lot of people are reluctant, like, I don't want to go to a concert because the COVID-19 is out there, a little scared. Well, CD1 has done a great job making sure that they set each table 6 feet.
Okay.
Everybody gets the temperature check when you come in there, and so you're not around anyone, you're not around a band. So they're trying to do their due diligence of making sure they can still have music, because music is very important to our morale and spirit.
It is.
But also do it where they're protecting people's health at the same time.
Okay.
So they're doing a great job. Like I said, this will be our third time there since May. And we sold out the last two, so we're looking to sell out this one too.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said next Sunday, which would be December 20th.
December 20th.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
That's gonna be
so,
fun.
how can your followers, anyone who's interested in following you or Groove Centric, like how can they reach out?
So look at us, Everything Groove Centric, GROOVECENTRC, Everything Groove Centric, from the Facebooks to the Instagrams to the Snapchats to the Twitters to the Pandoras to the what else we got out there? The TikToks to the YouTube's Groove Centric. You got it. Look us up. We got some great things. We just dropped a Christmas single. We collab with Isaac Hayes' daughter, Heather Hayes. What? And we did a Christmas single. Isaac Hayes wrote a Christmas song called "The Mistletoe and Me" in 1969. And it was a huge hit in the 60s and 70s. So as a tribute to her dad, we remade it. We put the Groove Centric touch on it. That's a little jazzy, a little funky too. And she's singing it like her pops. And we did the music, and it's amazing, y'all. So we just dropped it 2 days ago. So it's available on digital platforms. Okay. But yes, follow us on the social media so you can find out about that song. We did a video where I'm kind of dancing a little bit in the video and twerking and stuff. Well, I'm not twerking.
Okay.
But anyway. I'm not twerking. But it's a nice video, so we're about to drop that. So we're doing good things. Like I say, our second album's come out. So follow us on Instagram so you can see we got some amazing music coming, y'all. And I'm a little biased, but for real, it's good. I'm telling you, for real. No play. Just for real. It's real good. It's real good classic music. And like I said before, we do all kinds of genres. So we got funk, we got jazz, we got everything you need. If you're looking for a song to make some bath water and put some bubbles in there and put a little incense or a little wine, and you just trying to wind down for the night, girl, we got a song for you. On this new album. So y'all need to follow us. Right. We got a song. If you're trying to work out, girl, we got a song called Stupid Funky. I mean, if you're trying to really, get it, put on that stupid funk. That stupid funk is gonna have you push-ups and crunches. This is how you move it. I'm telling you, y'all need it. It's coming in February. It's February the 18th. It's the drop date. It's coming. But you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and we're gonna be posting about it because we're really excited about. I wrote this one song, girl, and I'm playing soprano on it. And when I tell you, I almost cried when I was playing. I was like, this is emotional.
What?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yes!
All right. February. I need to write that on my calendar.
You need to write that on the calendar. It's so good. Now, if you want to get a little taste right now of us, we got Crossing Bridges that's available right now. We dropped that last year. You can find that on iTunes, CD Baby, Pandora, Spotify, all those digital platforms. You can find that right now. Crossing Bridges by Groove Centric. Great jazz music. It's so good. It's so refreshing. We got my bass player wrote a song on there. I wrote a couple of songs on there. It's great. My guitar player wrote some songs. It's great. Y'all look that up. And 2 of those songs have already been featured on 91.9. They'll play it in rotation every single day. They played it today. That's Get a Grip and 6 Cents. They play it every single day on 91.9.
So tell me what that moment was like when you first heard it on the radio.
Oh man, it was so surreal because I didn't even know that they was playing it, right? And so I'm driving down the street, going to work, and it's like, I'm like, wait a minute. Who is that? That's me, right? And I took a little clip on it, I put it on Facebook, I was there, on the radio. I called my mama, I said, Mama, your son had made it. I'm on the radio, Mama. And so it was surreal because if I would have known it was coming, I would have been able to handle it. But I didn't know it was coming, so I got emotional, And if you've never seen a 6'4", 200 and something pound guy, get emotional and excited. It's a treat. It's a treat because I was in the car, I was dancing, and I wanted to stop in the middle of the highway and do a little twerking, but then I was late for work, and so I had to keep it moving. But I wanted to do that.
Right.
But it was great.
You did that.
I did it in my mind. I did it in the truck actually. While I was trying not to wreck. I was. I don't know how you twerk the jazz music, but I was trying to get there. But that album's doing really well. We actually did an interview. I didn't even know it was hot over in San Francisco, the album. And so we just did an interview about 3 weeks ago with a radio station in San Francisco that said, man, we love your music. So all 4 of us jumped on the call with them, and we was on air. And we got callers to call in and say we enjoy our music. So
it's amazing.
The sky's the limit for us.
Right.
And so we're really, really, really excited for what's going on.
That's so wonderful. I'm excited too. I can't wait. I'm gonna have to go get Crossing Bridges right now.
Right. It's nice. It's good. But if you like that CD, I'm telling you, you better buckle up your seatbelt because this next one, girl, this next one is gonna really pop you like right in the mouth. That's a little violent, but it's gonna hit you though.
I can't wait.
Is good.
I can't wait. All right, well, Mike, it's been so wonderful talking to you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Sit down with me today.
I will thank you for having us. This is very important because you never know who's listening. Right. And there's a lot of people, especially right now, thinking about, career changes and they're trying to make ends meet. And so a lot of people are thinking, hey, I've been sitting on this idea for the last 5 years. So now if things slow down, this may be time for me to be able to, like you say, put that business plan together and try to get organized in order to live out some of the dreams that people have been having. And I'm here to tell you that It may look a little bleak right now because of COVID, but things are going to open up.
Yeah.
And if it's on your heart to open up something, do it, man. Yeah, there's going to be some risks. Yes, it's hard work. But at the end of the day, you feel so much pride and such a sense of accomplishment because it's yours.
Right.
And nobody can take it away from you.
Exactly. It's so worth it.
It's worth it. You're worth it. If you're passionate about it and you put the work in, you will see the benefits of it and you will be blessed. Yeah.
Definitely. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, you got it.
All right then. Well, I've enjoyed our cocktails and conversations.
Yes. Oh yeah. Ooh, and this wine is called Island Winery Southern Passion. I got this from Hilton Head.
Oh.
It's good, girl. Ooh, it's good. It's
Southern Passion, huh?
Sometimes red wines are dry. They're real dry, and this one is fruity. Girl, and it is sweet. Ooh.
Now, if you want to talk about some fruity wine, you need to try Mogan David pomegranate. That right there. Oh yeah.
Wait, I think I've had that before. Is that what you're drinking right there?
You know.
You are so silly.
Mike Jones.
But hey, let me tell you something. You keep this going. And whenever you want me to come on, I will come and run my mouth. Because I really do enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And you educating and informing people. And you look so nice doing it. You look nice. Girl, look at you. You look nice, girl. And so keep it going, man. It's these platforms that I think we need in society to make sure that we're encouraging, motivating, uplifting, and empowering people.
Right.
And that's the key word in empowering, because sometimes that's all it takes. Somebody to listen to this interview to say, you know what? He was talking or she was talking about me. Let me get up and do it. And it'd be great for somebody to say, you know what? I had heard Mike Jones on
A'Driana LaFaye.
and I was like, you know what? Let me get up and do that thing. Yeah, because you can do it.
You can. That's why I spoke on one of my other videos was on fear and how you can allow it to just stifle you and you just be stuck. But especially now, I mean, like you said with COVID, it has made a lot of people have to pivot, but at the same time, it's a perfect time to try something new and try something that's, like you said, has always been on your heart or what have you. It's the perfect time to try. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You fail and then you figure out what you did wrong and you try it again.
Yeah, you have no excuse these days, because what are you doing? You can't really go out and go to a concert nowadays, so you usually just either exercising at home and just spending some time with the family. Well, why not pick up your notebook and a pencil, start on that business plan. Try to put your idea down, research it, Google it, and spend some time developing your idea so that when things open up and you're able to, go ahead and launch your ship, man. You know what I'm saying? Launch your ship. Most definitely. Sound like a preacher. Put me an E-flat musician so I can preach real quick. My sermon is tell your neighbor, launch your ship. Yes. Is that the alcohol talking?
No, that's you.
That's just me. Okay.
All right, guys. You can see we can talk all day long, but Mike, again, thank you so much for taking the time out to sit down with Cocktails and Conversations with A'Driana LaFaye. You have a great evening, and I will be having you back.
All right. Sounds great. Thank y'all for listening.